Oh, wow. Josh Martin is currently a father, husband, actor, performer, entertainer, human, enjoyer of life. Yeah.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Movement Radio. I am Chip Hazard,
And I'm Tom Williams.
and today we are joined by the incomparable, multifaceted, multi-talented Josh Martin. Josh, how are you today?
I'm well. How are you, Chip?
Doing great, doing great.
Hello, Talon, as well. Nice to meet you guys.
Yes, nice to meet you. While
Yes,
I'm over
sir.
here
Right
drinking
on.
a Pina Light.
There you go. Got to hydrate. Got to stay
Exactly.
hydrated.
Yes,
Exactly.
sir. So for those who don't know, who is Josh Martin?
Oh, wow. Josh Martin is currently a father, husband, actor, performer, entertainer, human, enjoyer of life. Yeah, that's me.
That's what I'm
Awesome.
talking
Awesome.
about.
So, since Chip asked the question, "Who are you?" I'm going to ask you the question, "Who were you?" Before you got into acting, before you, set off on this crazy journey, what was that initial spark that made you go, "I can do this"?
Hmm. Well, I guess the spark was I was 18. I had just finished my first semester of college at LSUS playing soccer and paying for it myself, working two jobs and majoring in marketing. And I wasn't necessarily enjoying it. And so, after growing up and always enjoying, Saturday Night Live. I'm an MTV generation guy, so from Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, all those kinds of guys, Eddie Murphy, late '80s, early '90s. That was my influences. And of course, I caught the tail end of cartoons from Scooby Doo and Warner Brothers. With the invention of satellite TV, I got to catch a lot of that. And then Animaniacs. I always loved the Animaniacs. Right
Yes.
there at the tail end of my youth. And so finally, after imitating all that and entertaining my friends, and reaching a lull in my education, my what do you call that form? My extended education. Uh, I I decided I was going to take the chance while I was young and able to rebound if it didn't work out. I was going to see what happens. And so I told my dad I wasn't going to go back to school, expecting the worst reaction from him. But luckily, he asked me if I wanted help, to which I graciously accepted. I was like, "Oh gosh, yes, thank you." I expected them to give me an earful about quitting school and education. But he was very supportive, and he worked in advertising, and he had used the Kim Dawson Talent Agency out of Dallas, Texas, and he gave them a call to see about getting me some representation. Um, and this was in contrast of the only idea that I had before this was I was going to move to LA or New York and try to figure it out, which is the worst idea. Uh, and thankfully, my dad saved me from that mistake. And yeah, about boy, I want to say it was about a month later. Well, it was right at the end of soccer season, right before the end of the first semester, and I was in school in January 15th, 1994, starting acting school in Dallas, Texas. So it didn't take very long for for me to tell my dad about that and us come over to Dallas from Louisiana to interview with the school. And next thing you know, I had an apartment in Irving, Texas, and I was going to school, learning the craft of not only, theater, but film, television, audition, voiceover, all that. And boy, I was overwhelmed to say the least.
I bet you were. Oh, how nervous were you to leave your home and move, several hours away just to go and do this thing?
Yeah, I was nervous. Pardon me.
No, you're good.
I was nervous, but again, I was young and kind of a little naive. Well, let me restate that. A lot naive, which worked to my benefit in the sense that I came over here. Um, anyway, I wasn't ready on many levels, but I did it anyway. And luckily, through perseverance and a lot of friends and peers and teachers, I made it through.
It seems like
That's
it may have
good.
worked out for you.
It did, thankfully. Yes, so far so good.
All
It took a
right.
minute.
Yeah, so you went to Dallas for the acting school.
Uh-huh.
At what point does the voice acting come into play in terms of like your first, I guess, audition or maybe the first time you heard about it and wanting to explore those options?
All right. Well, real quick, the journey from acting school when I graduated January '96, I got my first audition after graduation for Barney the Purple Dinosaur. And I booked it. I didn't want to do the audition. I didn't think I would fit because I was doing a comedy troupe beforehand, all through school with the likes of Chris Rager and Mike McFarlane. You may recognize those names. And
Yes.
Yeah.
so, the comedy we were doing was, like I mentioned before, Eddie Murphy, a lot of blue, rude, crude, offensive, on purpose humor. Our audience was SMU college kids. So they were loving the edgy stuff. There were other comedy troupes in town that didn't do what we were doing. So they had their clean niche already established. So we took the opposite uh, aspect of that or vantage point, and we did rock and roll comedy. And so I didn't think Barney would want me, and I didn't think I'd want to do it either. But I talk about those faculty members and teachers. One who told me about the audition, she gave me that mom side eye, and she was like, "I think you need to do this."
Mm.
She could see that it'd be a great thing for me, not only career wise, but she also knew that I had no job. I was sleeping on Chris Rager's couch, and so I could really use the money, regardless of whether I wanted to do the kids' entertainment. But I did get the part, and after it was for the world tour, Barney's big surprise, and I got on tour, and we did a children's hospital visit in every city that we went to, and that's when I realized that that part was bigger than me, and it was about kids and people that needed something to look forward to when they didn't have something to look forward to, and I was blessed to be a part of that. So, I did that for 3 years. And after 3 years straight, I decided I needed to take all that stuff that I learned, uh, you know, both internally and externally, and try to apply it to the acting craft that I was, that career that I was trying to do. So I did, got off the road, called my boy Chris Rager, and we called up Mike called up some other people, and we all got back together, and we did another comedy troupe. And not long after that, Mike McFarland, we're getting to the voiceover part, guys. Not long after that, Mike, who was already a fan of anime uh, and Dragon Ball Z specifically, found out that Dragon Ball Z was being dubbed in English just right up the road from us, not very far. And he went and auditioned and got his part of Master Roshi.
Yes.
And unbeknownst to us, we didn't know any of this until he came to the show one night and told us about it. And Chris Rager says, hey, "Wait a second, they gave you a part?" And Mike's like, "Yeah." Rager said, "They gave you a part. They'll give me a part." So obviously, history dictating the fact that Chris Rager did book his part. Fast forward to them inviting a lot of the directors and other people from Funimation, or not a lot, because there weren't a lot. There was just a few. There was, I think, John Bergmeyer, Chris Sabat, of course, Justin Cook, and some other, engineers and stuff would come around. But anyway, Chris Sabat came to the show, and he saw me do a character called the Pillsbury Homeboy. And yeah, gangster rapping Pillsbury Doughboy.
I want to see
And
that.
well, it's all over the internet. Well, it's on YouTube. There's me
It
performing it
is.
live in the comedy troupe, and then I later, see, what year was that? 2019. I animated it after all those years.
Oh wow!
Me
I'm
and
gonna have to look
Sonny.
this up.
Yeah, I'll send a link after we do the interview, and
Oh,
you can
Awesome.
check it
awesome.
out. And you can choose whether or not you share it with the audience. It's not necessarily suitable for work. But yeah, man, Sabat saw me do that character, and I was, doing the Pillsbury Doughboy voice, but cursing and saying rude things. The idea was that he gets jumped on his way home from school one day by a gang of Keebler elves, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
he gets beat up, he gets totally destroyed, and it triggers him. And while he's licking his wounds, he starts drinking alcohol and smoking weed and listening to gangster rap. And he eventually rewrites Snoop Dogg's "What's My Name." Uh, I don't know if you're familiar with that song.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's the era I grew up in.
there you go. I think you'll appreciate this remake, this remix. Yeah.
I can't wait to
So I'll
see
give you a little
this.
taste of it. I'll give you a little taste. So instead of nothing says loving like my crescent rolls. Right, that's the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah.
But I did. Nothing says loving like the blunts I be puffing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the greatest
So
thing.
thank you. Yeah, that's the edited version.
Right.
Yeah, I totally. What's my muffin bacon name? That's the
Oh,
edited version, but I did the totally unedited version. And I think Sabat thought, man, if he can sound that cute and say such evil, rude things, this is gonna work for Majin Buu. And he asked me after the show what I was doing the next day. He's like, I think I found the voice of Majin Buu. I was like, oh, okay. He said, what are you doing tomorrow? I don't know. What? Hey, can you come to the studio? Sure. So boom, I went in, and I wasn't a fan of Dragon Ball Z. I didn't know anything about it. I think I can remember maybe seeing it in passing someplace. There was Eon Flux back in the day that, I had a satellite a giant 10-foot satellite dish in my backyard in Louisiana. So it's possible I stumbled on it, but um, I didn't regularly watch it. I didn't know the story, and Chris Sabat gave me the quick 411 when I got in, and I was even more confused, to be honest. And I thought, oh boy, let's see what happens. And maybe for better or worse, I didn't say anything for the first 3 episodes. So, all I did was giggle and react and fight. But luckily, I'd already kind of lived in that voice for a long time, for already 5 years by the time I had gotten that far.
Yeah.
So taking the direction of, oh, he's just happy and he's just hopping, he just got hatched or whatever, but now Bobby's telling him to go fight somebody, you know. Okay, whatever. I don't get it, but I think some of my lack of knowledge, experience with the story, kind of lent itself to Majin Buu's childlike uh, attitude in that early bit. I would have
Yeah.
liked to have been to know more and be more experienced in it, because that was my first job. I didn't even audition for it. I mean, besides performing the night before, but
Right, right.
yeah, that's how I got
Uh,
it.
well, I mean, did
That's
you
crazy.
ever?
And that's the interview. Good night, everybody. Sorry. Sorry.
Uh, I mean, did you ever imagine going in for that first thing that Majin Buu would become one of the most memorable villains in anime history?
Uh-uh. Uh-uh. No, no, no. I mean, it was just another. I don't. This isn't. I don't want to diminish its importance, but it was just another gig. It was just
Right, right.
something else to do as an actor. In the world of acting, you get auditions. That's one of the things I learned after doing the first Barney audition. I didn't want to do it, right? But well, then you don't want to act. You don't want to work. You do the audition. You do all of them. You let the let the directors decide whether or not they want you. You know what
Right.
I mean? Uh, and
Yeah.
then if you get to the point where you can decide which ones you do or do not want to do, well, good on you. But until then, you do them all, right? And I
Right.
and I was young and full of it. And I was too cool for school. But yeah, I again, Boo was just another thing. I didn't know anything about it. When I told people about it, they didn't know what I was doing. They couldn't pronounce it. Uh, I got Dragon Balls. Is it Dragon Balls? I don't, what is it? I don't get it. Okay. Especially my friends and family from Louisiana.
Right.
But,
Right.
after all these years, here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. What part?
Uh,
What,
I
when
didn't do it. I wish I could say, yeah, yeah, I knew right away, but I didn't. Nah, I think maybe only a Sabbath or a true fan of the anime before it even got over here might have had a feeling that, I mean, this is just too good for me to be the only one, maybe Sabbath or whoever, to be the only one in the States who also likes this. And sure enough, he wasn't.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
I,
Is that one of your favorite roles that you've ever done in your career, Majin Buu?
I mean, he's fun. I can't disparage him. He was my first. Barney was my first gig, my first big role. That was pretty big. I mean,
Yeah.
that's got a special place in my heart too.
of
Um,
course.
as far as anime goes, I don't know that I'll ever be get another bigger one than that. Me personally, uh, maybe not. If not, I'll be just fine. I'm happy.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
blessed.
Yeah.
Man, that's what I like to hear. But sticking with
Cool.
Majin Buu for just a little
Uh-huh.
bit,
Yeah,
He's got a wide range of emotions and forms. What was the most
yeah.
challenging aspect of portraying him, other than not knowing
Hmm.
the story?
Yeah, I think the most challenging, there were two challenging parts. The first was when uh, Evil Boo turned Fat Boo into a cookie, and I stopped working when Justin Cook took over for Super Boo. I don't know
Uh-huh.
if you knew that,
I
but
did.
yeah. So, as actors and the ego, you're like, oh, what do you mean? It's over. Uh, but then I came back as Kid Boo, so that was great. And then besides that one wah wah hardship, the only hard part is the fighting, the growling of Kid Boo is really the only hard part. But listen, I've dug ditches before, and this ain't hard. You know what I
How was
mean?
how was your voice actor
Digging
when you
ditches is hard. Doing voiceovers ain't hard. It can be strenuous, yeah, yeah. It can be, emotionally and somewhat physically draining, but you know, come on,
yeah.
come on. I'm lucky. You're not gonna hear me complain. How about that?
Oh,
I, I got it.
I wouldn't want you to complain.
No.
I
Okay.
wouldn't. Yeah.
You can
Uh,
interview Rager for that.
Send him our way.
Yeah, yeah. Send him some
We'll let
info.
him complain all he wants.
I'll
Yes.
refer him to you, and you've been warned.
Oh, perfect.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
He's great.
Um,
He's a good dude. Yeah, no, he'll be great.
Awesome.
not only have you done voiceover, but you've done some stage stuff as well. Uh,
Yeah.
a- and when it comes to those different adaptations, whether it be live action, uh, voiceover, on stage, the comedy
Mhm.
troupe,
Yeah.
how do they lend their way into each other?
Hmm. Uh, Boy, I would say simply acting. Um, and it's also what I and most other voice actors tell everybody. You start with acting. If you want to get into this business, when I got into this business, there was no such thing as being a voice actor. Doing voiceovers was something, sure, but you're just an actor. Maybe you do a lot of stage acting. Maybe you do mostly film or more television or more commercial or more industrial videos. That used to be a thing when El Chico would put out a training video. You could be that guy walking in between the scenes. And another thing you do at El Chico is this, that you could be that guy, but a you weren't a industrial video actor. That's not what that was, right? It's all acting. So I would say easily that is the thing that lends itself to across the board, be it stage, live, tape, video, film, or voiceover. It's all acting. There's different techniques to to get the most out of your performance um, for different mediums, but at the same time, there are a lot of techniques that are the exact same. You know,
Yeah.
the study, the work that you do beforehand is the same. In voiceover, boy, for me, for anime, I don't get but about 5-10 seconds, maybe watching the voice, watching the line twice through is about all I get to figure out motivation and all of the things that if you have a play or you got that script for weeks and months even sometimes and you just go over and over again and you've tried these lines every which way to Sunday. You know what I mean? And so There's really, and not only that, not only are there lots of ways to do it, you get to try them a lot over the different performances. You know, you do a theater play, there's a lot of performances of that play, or at least more than one, right?
Right.
Right.
You do a film, boy, they'll give you another take, or they'll do you have months of preparation and time with the script still, and your director's telling you exactly what he wants. They'll take a minute, but anyway,
Yeah.
from each
Yeah.
medium, there's differences and similarities. Acting is the main one.
Yeah. Is there a particular discipline that you enjoy over the others?
Man, I love doing voices. I love doing the voiceover stuff. I used to always mess with the tape recorder. If my radio had a tape recorder, I would use it. I used to, but also used to, you know, pretend that I was Chuck Barris from the Gong Show. Me and my
Yes.
next door neighbor, we would do a radio Gong Show. I don't know how we did that, but anyway, uh, you know, but there is nothing like getting that direct response from a live audience. I mean, that's kind of that's a little bit addicting, honestly. Um, it's kind of like it's kind of like a drug, you know what I mean? I need more. I need a
Yeah.
bigger, crazier audience. And I've been in front of some for various reasons. And man, it never gets old. It
Yeah.
never gets old. I'd say if I had to pick one, well, I definitely pick the live stuff because I'm still using my voice. I can still do all the stuff I do on the mic in front of people.
Oh
And
yeah.
and they get to tell me, yeah, they like it, or no, they don't. Uh,
What are some of your favorite stage plays that you've done?
oh, you gonna make me tell on myself now?
I sure am. Yeah,
Rent.
we getting deep over here. Hey.
I'll be honest. The only full like play that anybody's ever heard of is Barney's Big Surprise. Otherwise, the only plays I've ever done is like high school
Mm.
productions. And in my high school, much love to Halton High, but those productions were not Shakespeare. They weren't even Mean Girls. All right, they weren't Spam a Lot. They wouldn't. No, that was uh, that was me and my friends messing around on stage because we didn't have a proper theater program at the time. Actually the old the longest tenured drama teacher had just retired,
Oh.
and the new one just took over because they needed someone. She had no business in it.
Mm.
So yeah, to answer your question, I sadly have to say I've never been in a proper play. I have been fortunate to reach where I am without it. But it's not because I don't want to. Once I got through school, I was like, oh, I could do this. But boy, it's not worked out yet that I've gotten into production.
Okay.
I think maybe
It's
after I have
coming.
3 kids. I've got 3 kids, and I have a feeling once they're out of the house and off to school, and I've got a little more time. My wife's still working. I'll have some time to go and practice a play.
Any
Do a
particular
play.
play you're interested in doing, or is there one you was like, man, I'd love to be in this play?
Oh, okay. I would love to do Oliver. I
Oh,
would love
Yeah.
to be Fagin.
why that character particularly?
Oh, that's just my favorite. I'd want to do Artful Dodger if my voice hadn't changed yet. But yeah, man, I grew up with that movie. I wore that movie out, and I always loved that Fagin character.
Okay.
Yeah,
Always did.
yeah,
I recently went on a wormhole of looking up those actors
yeah.
outside of that role. And I had never, ever, ever, I mean, this has been since I was, I don't know, 13, 14, that I last like uh, actively watched it. So I hadn't seen them since. And I didn't know them outside of that production at all. And now
Oh wow.
I watched all these Christmas specials with them all over the place being exploited. I was just like, no way.
Mind
So that was
blown.
fun. Yeah, definitely. I could probably do Bill Sykes. I
Oh,
might do Bill Sykes as well. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
like that one. Yeah.
I can see that role fitting you.
Yes,
Or
absolutely.
I'd also be happy doing one of the guys in the funeral parlor. You know, can
Uh,
can you look
yes.
like can you look
Yeah.
like him with the top hat? Perhaps she's got a tall hat. Or the where's your mother
Yeah.
workhouse? Oh really?
Oh, yes.
Oh really? What'd she die of? Short as your breath. Love that. Yeah, any of those parts. That I got to do that one. I got to do that one.
Yeah. So any role that requires you to be a little bit silly with your voice and things of that nature.
There you go. Busted.
Yes.
Guilty.
Yes.
He said, "That's me.
Guilty.
I'm right here."
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
Stereotyped.
so outside of acting, what are some of your interests?
Music.
Ah,
Music. I
Oh,
am
yeah.
in I'm in two bands at the moment. A Beastie Boys tribute band,
oh,
and
ho, ho.
yeah, called Rhymin' and Stealin'.
Rhyming and
You can
Okay.
stealing.
find us on
Oh,
the internet. We've been
Okay.
around for 15 years.
nice.
Yeah, we'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina in November or something. And we'll be back in Dallas in November as well.
Yeah. Link in description.
Charlotte's only like
Yes.
4 hours. It's like 3.5, 4 hours from where I'm at now. I may have to come
Come on.
check that out.
Come on. All right. I've got a big email to get together for you guys after this show.
I
Awesome,
Dates
man.
and links and everything. Yeah,
yes.
definitely.
Absolutely.
And
What? Okay.
also in a hip hop cover tribute band as well.
Okay, what's
Oh,
that one?
I'm
oh,
doing
that's fine.
vocals with as well. It's called Regulators, and it's just all the hip hop hits. And there's four vocalists, a female, one female, and three males, and a live band. So
Nice.
I think we end up with a pretty full stage, and we're sounding good so far. We haven't done a show yet. We're in the building stages, in
Hmm.
the pre-production stages. So um, I will keep following me. I will hopefully have some more announcements on that.
All
Awesome,
right. Okay.
awesome.
Well, that being said, you just said you was a hip
Yeah,
hop head, so I got to ask you this question:
come on.
what is your Mount Rushmore of hip hop artists?
Oh, here we go. All right. You got to start with the guy, Rakim.
Okay. I rock with Rakim. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Eminem.
Eminem. Yes.
Uh, I just a disclaimer. I reserve the right to go back at any time and revise this list due
The list is
to
fluid.
a change in opinion, either personally or professionally.
Okay.
Yes. So Rakim, Eminem, Busta Rhymes.
Buster.
Oh,
Ooh,
It's a
Buster.
long time favorite. Uh, who else? I mean, there's so let's see this is always where I get with Mount Rushmores.
Yep.
yep.
Oh, Mount Rushmores, right?
Because
Uh,
you only have one spot left, and there's so many great
right.
artists.
Big
Every
time. Yeah.
time, every time. Um,
A few moments.
I'm losing all of them right now.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean Snoop.
Snoop.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go with Snoop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll go with Snoop. Yeah, that flow, that voice. If my voice wasn't shot right now, I'd do my Snoop imitation for you, but it wouldn't fly.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, at another time on the follow up. We'll do a follow up, and I'll be on point.
Most certainly.
I'm
Most
down with
certainly.
it. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a rock. So Rakim, Eminem, Busta Rhymes, and Snoop. That's a pretty good
Yeah.
line. I really like
I,
that.
I mean, I think that I could go into battle with any other four and feel pretty confident.
Oh yeah.
Not that there aren't another four that I could come up with right now to go up with them that would be comparable, but you know,
Yeah.
again,
Yeah. Well, see,
yeah,
my
those
my
are four.
four, my
Go on.
my Mount Rushmore is Eminem, Tech Nine, Immortal Technique, and DMX. Like those are my four favorite of all time.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Oh, oh,
yes.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
DMX. All right. Uh, yeah,
He's a
Oh
I
white
can do
man.
him
man.
right now.
Uh,
Right on.
what what is it about hip hop music that draws you to that genre?
Man, you know what? I think back in the day when I first got onto it I mean, it was Rakim, Eric B. is president. That
Yes.
song was just that beat and
Yep.
that cadence, the tone of his voice, super smooth. Um, man, it got me. It got me. And so after that, I wanted to hear people saying cool words in rhythm,
Yeah.
uh, uh,
Yeah.
and rhyming to a cool beat. And that's what's always drawn me to it since then.
Mm.
Yeah.
Uh,
So who came up with the idea for the Beastie Boys band, the Beastie Boys tribute band?
Actually, it is formerly the Mike D who started it, and the current Ad Rock.
Okay.
They were in another comedy troupe in town, uh, one of the cleaner ones, but they were doing a corporate event. And in one of the improv games, they got the suggestion of Beastie Boys tribute band. And they performed it. They did a little something, and it went over big. And after they got off the stage, they said, "We should maybe do that." And so they had the two of them as Mike D and Ad Rock. They're like, "Oh, we need an MCA," and come
There
back
you
to
go.
Pillsbury Homeboy.
yeah.
They had seen me do that, and they're like, I mean, if he can do that, he can at least rap live. Let's see if he can do the MCA voice." And yeah, my wife was pregnant with our twins, and they called me about it, and I thought, oh, that's an awesome idea. There's no way my wife's gonna let me do this. I mean, that's just that, and, I didn't. I thought, oh, that'd be pretty selfish of me, right?
Yeah.
Uh, just hey, good luck with that. Just text me if you got any issues. Uh, I'm an hour away. You know, doing Beastie Boys karaoke, but don't you'll be good. You're good. But luckily, my wife is awesome and supportive. And when I got off the phone talking to the boys the first time, she asked me about it, and I told her what they had asked me, and she said, "You're gonna do it, right?" And I went, "Yeah." So,
Yeah.
yeah. I then went to the first rehearsal, and I was like, "All right, fellas, if we're gonna do this, we got to do it because I don't got time for karaoke, or
Right.
if I had time for poker night, that'd be great, but I don't have time for that either. Um,
Right.
so let's go. And
Yeah.
sure enough, luckily, as may be evident, since Ad Rock is still here, he had the um, Kyle Smith. He had the idea in the beginning. We all kind of went around the room and talked about our goals and ideas for the group. And Kyle's was the most lofty of all of them. It kind of absurdly lofty at the time, based on the
Okay.
circumstances. And I was like, I'm on his team. You know what I mean? If we, yeah, let's go. let's shoot for the stars. And sure enough, those lofty goals have been achieved, and that's our standard.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So as a member of a Beastie Boys tribute band, what
Right.
is your favorite Beastie Boys song?
Mm.
There's only
Yeah,
one
I
way
don't have one. That's my problem. I mean, I think okay. We play Sabotage live, so I love that
Okay.
one. Um, I love Shake Your Rump for some reason.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
what you want? I like Gratitude, and let's see, there's so many more.
There are.
Right? I said maybe this is just a hang up I've got when I get to the last one. I've got to now just pick one. Right. Uh, you could just really take your pick there. I like Brooklyn. Hello, Brooklyn,
Oh,
Yes.
hello. Okay.
because of the bass.
Uh-huh.
That's always you can't go wrong there.
No. No.
Intergalactics, a classic.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
High
was waiting on
Plains
Brass Monkey.
Drifter, uh, uh, Looking Down the Barrel of a Gun,
Yep.
Paul Revere, of course.
Yeah.
Our Namesake, Rhymin' and Stealin's a good hard rock.
See, you're gonna make me go downstairs and put my Beastie Boys vinyl on
Yep.
and turn the
Go.
stereo up and wake my kids up.
Yeah.
Let's go. Well, it's too early for bed.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock here, and they're in elementary school, so it's
Okay,
bedtime for them.
right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what the Beastie Boys said? You gotta fight for your right.
Yes,
Party. Yes.
yes.
Even if you're in elementary school, Dad.
I don't know. There's something about Brass Monkey that I think is just hilarious. I love that song. That's probably my favorite Beastie Boys song is Brass Monkey. Just
Brass
that
Monkey's a good one.
the
Those horns.
horns at the beginning.
Yes.
That's what makes it, and then to me that's what makes the song because it's a fun song to sing. You know what I mean?
It turns the party out when we play it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
No question.
Oh man. Um, so is there a particular role or project that you are most proud of aside from Majin Buu?
I mean, if I had to pick one, it would definitely be Barney.
Yeah,
Barney Body Talent, because that was it was my first gig. I got to tour the world. Um, Boy, I got to be a rock star without anybody knowing me, without having to do all the stuff that a rock star has to do, outside of outside of the gig. You got to you got to be on all the time. People always know who you are and that sort of thing. People didn't
Hmm.
know what I was doing in town. You know what I mean? So, but I also had my roadies were from other rock and roll tours, like Tina Turner and Rolling Stones and Marilyn Manson. Some pretty U2 popular acts. Um, so not only did I have their perspective of the business, and how all of this worked, we'd be in town with across town from Marilyn Manson, and they knew some of the roadies on that show, so we'd go across town. I'd get out of the costume, we'd catch a cab, go watch the show, uh, or we'd take the bus. We took the bus, two buses, with everybody who wanted to go to Aerosmith. One time after the show, wound up meeting Steven Tyler backstage in his dressing room. He requested to meet us, so that was fun. Um, but beyond that, like I said, we did those hospital visits,
yeah.
and we did sing-alongs downstairs for everybody who could and wanted to come and watch and participate. And then anybody who wanted Barney to stop by their room, who couldn't come out, Barney would stop by and take pictures, visit, do whatever. And man, that's when it became real, because it was unfortunately obvious that many of those children were not going to leave those rooms ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Much less the hospital or ever get better. All of that stuff. I was in the costume for to grant wishes for Make-A-Wish. So that, eh, all of a sudden this punk kid who just wanted to stay home and be offensive to a bunch of college kids, realized, a lot. It means a lot more. I'm not the main character. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's it, that's the one. And I dare say, I mean, Boo's awesome, but without Barney, I wouldn't have had the experience or the confidence to step into that role and do what I can. I've been doing that voice. I've been doing Pillsbury Doughboy since I saw him on TV and figured out I was a pretty good parrot. you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, without doing that Barney gig and realizing more about myself and the world, I don't think I would have been in the right place for it.
It definitely brings you
Definitely.
down to earth. It definitely
Yeah,
this shit's bigger than me.
yep,
I'm a grain of sand in this beach called the world. It's crazy.
at best. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, we don't want to take up too much of your time this evening. So, if anybody wanted to follow you on social media to see what next projects you're going to be doing, where you're going to be playing a gig, or what con you might pop up at, where do they go?
I wouldn't do it because it is a bad idea. You've been warned. No kidding. Uh, no, you can find me on Instagram at Original Boo, all lowercase, and that is BUU. You can find me Josh Martin Voice on Twitter X.
Yeah, we still call
And
it Twitter.
It's still
right,
too.
right. You know what we talk about. The hellscape. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
That's the
yeah,
truth.
yeah. I'm on Threads. I think it's just Josh Martin. I'm on Facebook, Josh Martin. There's a Josh Martin voice. There's a rare fan experience with me and Rager. Um, check out Ryman and Steeling on Facebook. And look for us. Look for us in an area near you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Links will be in the description below. Uh, Josh, we were once told that the greatest gift you can give another human is your time because it's the one thing you cannot get back. We greatly
Uh,
appreciate you sharing your time with us this evening.
Man, it's my pleasure. Thank you for thinking of me. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank
Most
you for joining
definitely.
us. If you want to hang out with us for just one more second while we do this outro real quick, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Once again, Josh, we appreciate you joining us. Chip, anything you want to say before we get out of here this evening?
As always, please do not leave without leaving a like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Thank you guys for all the love and support that you guys have been giving us here on this YouTube channel, on Spotify, and all of our other streaming platforms and all of our social media. We also want to say, thank you once again to streamlabs.com, streamlabs.com/movement radio/merch. And that's where you can go get your official Movement Radio merchandise. Also, redbubble.com is our other merch store. If you want to get some more merchandise, we got some merchandise over there for you too. Stickers, patches, t-shirts, anything you want. If you want the Movement Radio logo on it, it's going to be there waiting for you. That being said, Josh, once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. I'm Talon Williams.
I'm Chip Hazard. He is Josh Martin, and this is Movement Radio.
God bless.
See ya.